Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Dead Space. If you're just joining us right now, then what is wrong with you? Go back and start from the very beginning. Okay, so while I was taking a little break, Sid came and showed me some of the controls I didn't know about. Like, you can switch the firing mode of guns by pressing space. So yeah, different angle of cutting. That's really helpful. I wish I knew that before. So, can I keep that? Now, my initial plan was to just go into various stories about life at the academy. It's what they call the place where they teach you, where everyone was taught like different fighting arts, like white magic or stuff like that. Let's, Stacy, what's this do? Wait a second. Is this? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. Oh, this is the good stuff. Chronokinesis, limited but still very fun. Okay. My plan was to go into all
Looks like that door is malfunctioning, Isaac. Try using the stasis
But
module.
I already. You're useless. I just did that. Anyway, my plan was to go on to various stories to give some background to the Academy and what life was like for us before our big adventures began. But after I mentioned to Sid that I was planning on doing the sequel next, she pretty much just demanded that well, the story I was gonna tell, like, for when I would play Dead Space 2, she pretty much decided it for me. I'm not sure why, but she's played it, so it's probably gonna be relevant somehow. I don't know. I have no idea how giant robots are supposed to be relevant to whatever these are, but she knows better. It's okay. I'll get into what. Die! Surprise. Okay, Alright, so anyway, because she pretty much decided it for me, I realized that one second.
We managed to get it back to the repair depot, but now the autoloader is fried. I need a stasis module brought down here now. Look at this piece of shit off the track. It's gonna jam up the whole system.
Wait, is that the one? Oh! And, okay, once I do that, we're going to throw our stuff. I think I do that. What now? Oh, this looks good. Do I do this now? Okay, alright, that fixes that, alright. So anyway, because of the story I gotta tell next, because of Sid, that forces me to tell you the story of my very first adventure, our very first adventure. Because that will provide some needed background.
The whole system.
We had just graduated from the academy, like, not just, but like roughly a month after we graduated from the academy. Sid and Phyllis, they collaborated a lot, being, you know, twins and stuff. Well, they finally got a dimensional gate working, so that we could travel to different dimensions. That's actually not that hard to make if you know what you're doing, and they very much did. So, oh, jeez! Did not see that coming. So anyway, our goal was to make our way back home, and, well, at that point we didn't know what the conditions of our home were. So, we didn't really know what step 3 was. Step 1, actually, or step 2 was. Step 1 was just get home, and we were gonna make it up. We were gonna figure that out later when we got there. So, now, this is where things get a little weird, because, for some reason that not even Sid is still aware of, while we were in mid-dimensional transit, something happened. I don't know what's... Oh, that's nice. Something happened, and we ended up somewhere completely different. This really strange, almost barren. No, not barren. There's lots of greenery, but there wasn't much life. Just some. It was a strange world with no seemingly sentient inhabitants, just animals. There was birds, there were some fish in the little pools. There were bunnies. I hate bunnies, and I'm not crazy. I'll, I'll get into my hatred for bunnies at a later time. They're just, they are evil creatures, and I can get into that later. It's not important right now. So we were basically very under-equipped. We had no idea where we were, or really anything about this place other than it was some weird sort of plain. Not really a plain. There were some hills around. But we weren't really entirely sure where it was. So here we are. We're kind of stranded. We weren't sure where we were. Wait 1 second. Sorry, that was Sid. She's just being Sid. We were stranded because apparently, for some reason, the gate we had kind of fried out, so it needed to be fixed, and we had no idea how to do that because it was just grass and trees for as far as the eye can see. There wasn't enough. The trees were way too spread out for it to be a jungle, so it wasn't a jungle. Imagine an open plain with the occasional hills and weird
Isaac, I've patched into the
gulfs.
deck security
Not
system.
gulfs, but
It took some work, but I've got the door to the maintenance bay unlocked.
sort of
The data
like
port
mini
should be somewhere
valleys,
inside.
like holes in the. They're sort of holes, but more valley-shaped holes. And just random trees just spread out everywhere. That's kind of where we were. We didn't really come to a consensus
Isaac, you
on
still
what the
need to find
name,
the data board to the tram
what
computer.
the place
It's
was.
in the maintenance bay.
But anyway, we were stranded there in the wilderness, and we had no idea how to get back. So, once our initial panic session ended, we decided that first thing we needed to do was to make some shelter.
It looks
So,
like the door to the storage room is locked.
fortunately,
There should be a key somewhere in the maintenance bay.
Clay had a couple of weapons on her. Like she had her iron sword, like a Claymore, good iron. I'm making this clear because only her sword was iron. She was getting a little experimental with weapon types. She still had an iron Claymore as primary weapon, but she wanted to, because no blade master, because yeah, she was a blade master at this point. No blade master only uses one type of weapon. They're at least really good at every single continuous type of weapon, and they're just extremely awesome with one. So she had for some reason she had an axe made of stone and a rapier that was made with silver, and I have no idea why she chose silver. I forgot to ask her. She said that it seemed like a good idea at the time, and I don't know. But anyway, so we had at least something we could cut down trees with to get some wood to make a shelter. Now, when Clay cut down a tree, you expect the entire trunk to just tip over and fall down. That's not what happened. It seemed to, when she cut it down, the entire thing seemed to just break into, not blocks, but, okay, imagine an icon, a desktop icon. Now imagine one of a log of wood. Now imagine that in 3D. That's kind of what they turned into. Their total mass seemed to have, like the mass of the tree and the mass of all the little wood block icon thingies seemed to be different. Seemed to be less wood now. So that was our first indication that there was something really. Oh crap! My health. That was our first indication that there was something really weird about this place. So now that apparently we had less wood than we thought we were going to, we started. While Clay was going around chopping down trees. Oh yeah, something else really weird. The wood seemed to kind of phase into her, and at first this was kind of concerning. That's when she noticed that she had a weird tattoo on like the bottom of her arm, like the underside of her left arm. It was a series of clear blue boxes with one row on top that was sort of divided from the rest. It was a row of 9, I believe. Yeah. And now one of these boxes had a bunch of wood, had the wood icons in it with a number, like so. Apparently, this world came with some sort of tattoo storage device, which is interesting, really, and gotta remember to look into that. Tattoo storage. I gotta remember that. We lost them when we left that world, just getting that out there. What's that? Should I? Nope, that looks explosive. Let's test it. Yep, that explodes. Okay, good to know. So, it took a little bit of experimentation to figure out what to do with the wood now that it was in that weird storage device, but we eventually figured out how to take the wood. You were to press your finger down on the wood icon and then drag it over to one of the top. What's that? Oh, that's the data board thing I gotta find. And you drag it over to one of the top rows, and then you can just summon it at will by thinking of that particular box. So. And we also, and that shows, so she handed the wood that she got so far over to my brother, and he started to get to work on a little shelter. That's when we discovered something else interesting. When he tried to put down a single piece of wood, it suddenly morphed into a block. So, yeah, that was really weird. Cargo lift? Okay. So yeah, it suddenly morphed into a block. We still don't have a clear consensus of how that was possible, but at the time, it was just something that made life easier for us, so we just went along with it. Alright, so Clay was chopping down trees to get wood, and Lee was using that... Did I? Yeah, I went the wrong way. Dang it. And Lee was, No. My brother was, making her shelter. And it took a little while, but they eventually got a decent little hut built. Burned through a lot of trees though, but we had plenty of seeds that somehow also dropped when the trees came down. So we went around replanting what we just cut down, so you know we didn't just completely destroy the environments because we're good, we're nice people like that. And once we had that taken care of, we didn't really have a proper door at first, so we had our little hut, our little shelter, and that's when we started thinking. We started discussing what we were going to do next. And Sid said, okay, guys, no two ways about it. We got to start finding some metal. And we all look at her like, what? And then this is when Crow speaks up. Well, but where are we going to find metal? I mean, this is just an open plain. And yeah, we all agree with her. Where are we going to find metal in a place like this? So, Then Phyllis said, well, Sid and I have been discussing it, and after having tested the soil, I believe this might be a mineral-rich area. And this is the first time any of us have heard soil testing. But, you know, alchemy works with basically analyzing and deconstructing objects, so honestly, it didn't seem too ridiculous to any of us. Is that where I gotta go? Okay. So at this point, all we had really to go on was Phyllis's word, and that's really better than anything else we had. So then, we had a vague idea what we had to do, but now we need to decide. Okay, so we got to get metal. What for? And then Sid said, well, to fix the dimensional gate. We can't stay here forever. Jeez. Okay, so we needed metal, and then I asked, okay, what kind of metal? And she says, I don't know, just whatever you can find. Which wasn't too promising. She's supposed to be the expert, and she didn't know what we had to get to. That was really concerning. Lisa and my brother says, "We're gonna die here, aren't we?" And like, this is no, we're not gonna die. Quit whining, you baby. Oh, audio. Let's see what this is. Oh, repair noise. That's boring. So, we decided that we would split up. Some of us would go looking for some sort of metal. The rest of us would, the rest of us would stay at our little shelter and hold on the forts. More literal than I wish it had been. So we drew blades of grass, and my brother and I ended up being the ones who drew the shortest one. So we ended up being the exploring team, the one that went out to look for metal. Now, our first problem was this. Well, okay, never mind. We had lots of problems, but currently, here is our big one. Where do we find metal? Where do we find any kind of ore? Now, we weren't sure, so my brother, in his infinite wisdom, just said, well, let's just dig down. We'll find something. And my first instinct was to slap him, because that was a stupid idea. That was a really... Oh, jeez! Dang it! Get out of here. Whatever you are. Find out later. So yeah, I wanted to slap him because that was a really stupid idea. But again, he's a lot stronger than I am physically, so he probably wouldn't even phase him, and he'd probably just slap me back. So yeah, I can't do that. So he said, "Well, don't you know float? Can't you just use that on us in case we fall?" Okay, now. This is something I hoped would have gone into before. Float is a type of white magic spell that basically makes one sort of levitate slightly. It works by bending the light and air beneath the target, and basically they float just a little bit of... Oh, okay, storage. They float a little bit above the ground. What's this? Now this lets them walk over not only solid objects, but liquids too, so... Oh! Okay, 1 second. What's this? Rig, that's my suit, right? Where's my mouse? Oh, don't... Oh, don't use oh, let's go here. Alright. Now you're acting like an engineer, man. Alright, upgrading your stuff. That's awesome. Oh, crap, where was I? Float. Right, I was discussing the mechanics of float. Let's use... Walk over, fob, solid, jump, liquids. It also, when you're falling, it slows your descent because, again, you're floating. It's basically, it's a parachute that doubles as a levitating above objects spell. So, yeah, if we had the worst happen and we ended up digging a hole into a big, well, hole in the ground, we'd at least be falling slowly. That didn't fix the problem of, getting back up, but, we had a lot of problems. We had to find some way to solve it. So, I cast float on us, and, Clay ended up making a rather crude wooden pickaxe and shovel for Lee, and he began digging. Because, he's the muscle, so, yeah, he was going to digging. I was just standing around, like, out a little bit outside the hole, like, away from his digging, but inside of it with him, so that when he eventually did hit dirt, I mean, not dirt, but a hole, I'd fall down with him. Flow was already up, so we felt we were in that much trouble. It was at this point that it hit me that, you know what, we're gonna need a way to get back up. And then he stops and keeps thinking, and I can see his face, and he says, I don't know anything about that. And right now, it wasn't too far up. We hadn't gone too far down, so he was able to jump back up and said, hey guys, we kind of need a way to get back up. So, then Clay had to go out and get a bunch more wood so we can make some ladders. Well, and we had ladders, so we can make not ladders, but like segments of ladder. So we had to tie those to the wood, not to the wood, but the dirt wall that we were digging down. So we had a way to get back up. Well, this is about a time when me and Lee end up getting into the tunnel, so actually... Oh! This is actually kind of convenient, because I can stop here. Okay, that was actually not bad time. Alright, then, see you next time, where... stuff happens. See you later.